Yeah, hi, it's the 18th of February 2018 at midnight. I had a couple of beers last night, so I didn't make a video yesterday. I've kind of decided that no, if I have a drink, I'm not going to make a video. I'm just not going to take the risk of upsetting anybody. You know, if I'm hungover or even a little bit drunk and what have you, I'm likely to say something that'll just upset somebody out there, and I don't want to do it. Can't see the point of it. I try to make this channel a feel-good channel, and alcohol's not going to mix with it. I love a drink, but I needed a couple of beers because I've been so busy. 3 weeks I haven't had a break. I've done 2 or 3 videos every day, and I just needed to stop and just relax a little bit. So it was good, and I might do that from time to time, I think. But if I don't appear, that's what's happened. I've had a drink or two, and I just won't do it. Not going to take the chance. It's hard work, actually, believe it or not, doing this. I'm continually thinking what to do, and I'm feeding off the comments, which means I have to think about them, and sometimes I have to read your comments 2 or 3 times. Not because I don't understand them. I understand them fine, but just to get some sort of sense, to get something out of it. But and sometimes something will just stick out like dog sports, which is great. But the thing that's been bothering me for the last few days, and I feel rather awkward about it. I'll just be flat out and honest. I feel rather awkward about this. I've actually started becoming happier and happier and happier in 3 weeks, and it's bowled me over. All the things that bothered me before. My hatred of social services and, the pissed off at what's happening in the world, it's all gone. It's all disappeared like dust. And I've been wondering what the hell's going on. But I feel awkward because I know a lot of people out there are hurting and going through very bad times, and I know what it was like for me when I was going through a bad time. I'd say I've never been happier for years. So I sort of like, you're in a bad position, and after 5 years, I'm coming out of the other end of it, and I'm screaming into the atmosphere. But I have to admit, it's been bothering me as to why. And it's just, I keep thinking, maybe it's a mixture of things, but, I'm thinking of, some of the bizarre things. I think, this is a screen, a background screen, and usually I have lovely settings, a nice house here, and believe it or not, you get to feeling like you're in it. So I thought, maybe that's conning my mind. Tell enough lies, tell a lie often enough, and you'll start believing it. So, which is funnily enough how I kind of feel. Like all these different settings, I sort of think, why do I need an expensive house? I mean, I can go anywhere in the world. And you start believing it after a while. And, and if I look happy, well, then you must be happy. And more lies. But I thought, I don't know. I don't think it's that so much. I mean, loads of people do that, and nobody ever tells me how happy they are doing YouTube channels. And I thought, okay, so what is it? And then I started thinking a bizarre sort of thought. When I first started it, and I said I fed off the comments, off your comments. And the comments, and I thought about it, made me think about the comments. Comments, I don't know whether anybody ever looks at them, they're just getting longer and longer and longer. And sometimes I got one from Kurt 2022 tonight, this long, and at the end of it he said, I did it on the phone. I thought, oh shit, you're kidding, one thing. There must have been 2,500 words in it. And I thought, wow. And I was talking to Captain Bob, and I'm just saying, it's incredible. It's the comments, just look at them sometimes. They go on and on and on and on. And I thought, I've been chatting in the wild jungle and sexy camps for years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. It's a long time. And I mean, LOL is, the most popular thing. And, it's just, the conversations are just so short and nothing. They're about nothing. There's no sustenance in them. And I compare that to these conversations that are really in depth, and you're all the writers. You're all writers. They're all grammatically correct and structured properly in the whole thing. Like, I can hardly read half the comments or the half of the conversations I have in Pal Talk. Honestly. And I got to thinking, there's nothing there. There's just nothing there in the text. And it got me to thinking a step further, the favourite subject, women. Yeah, there's just nothing there. If you were to take their conversation and compare it to these conversations, there's just nothing to feed on. There's nothing. Captain Bob was saying today. They bring nothing to the table. And if you just look at the conversations, yep, there he is. Nothing. I mean, literally, there's just nothing you can feed on. There's nothing you can run with or anything else like that. See, whereas, it started off, I got a few comments, so then I could do a video on it. So I was feeding on the comments. Then I think what's happening is you guys are feeding on me, and we're just going, boom, 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 we're getting fatter and fatter and fatter. And feasting. I mean, when you're feasting and fatting, it doesn't look like this behind me, does it? Look at it. Look at it. Dry. Nothing. Desolate. Nothing there. Because there's nothing to feed on. And so imagine living in that. You'd be unhappy, wouldn't you? You'd be thinking, yeah, well, that's how we're trying to live, like that. And if you look at go onto another site and compare the comments I'm getting on this site or this channel versus the other channels. And I think probably what's happened is I'm not after 1 million subscribers. I couldn't give a shit. Okay, it just doesn't interest me. Even if I got them, it doesn't interest me. I'd just be bored with it. And I've got probably 3 or 4 or 5 people who comment, probably a couple more than that. But I'm busy. I spent most of today, certainly all of the morning, typing, answering, replying to comments. And what I used to do is do a video and drop it in the comment. I thought it'd be quicker, more efficient. And I did that. And one guy went to YouTube and they gave me a community strike for unwanted, material. So I thought, I won't do that anymore. My next step, I think, will have to be learning how to use voice-to-text software. I've tried it a few times, but that'd be a lot quicker. But it's a bastard. You end up yelling at your computer. I said this. You do. That's what happens if you've ever tried it. Oh, my Godfather. But yeah, that could be fun. Screaming at the computer. I fucking told you. Yeah. But it's the channel has been a real blast, but what an eye-opener. I mean, it's just... I'm gobsmacked. But that was just so obvious today. I just thought, yeah, we're trying. I told Captain Bob, I think we're just slowly starving to death. And we don't know why. We think it's this and that and something else. But have a look at what people say to you and what you talk about. And you guys are bright. I see it. You structure everything else. You're not getting what you want. You're not getting the feed, the nutrition that you actually need to be happy. That's the truth of it. You're just not getting what you need. It's like I can feel it on the channel that you're wanting something. You're wanting attention or something, or to be recognised, heard. Because as I tell you, I read your comments. They're just getting longer and longer. You're telling me more and more and more. I mean, gee whiz, it's telling me something. I don't know. Maybe you guys you've got a better take on it than I have. But I'm just gobsmacked. I'm just surprised because I'm projecting out, and you guys are are reflecting something. It's a bit like Medusa. I might be the opposite of Medusa. But it's just so noticeable. You know, and I found myself today thinking, yeah, no, I think we're all slowly starving to death. You know, we eat nutritional food and that sort of thing, but mentally, you know, I think most of us, you know, if you come to YouTube, I don't know about you guys, but I come here when I need to, well, basically to learn. I do a lot of, you know, this is where I learn. I learn a lot of stuff here. So I'm figuring you guys are the same way. But then I compare what I'm looking at on this channel versus what I get in Wild Jungle and Sexy Cam, which I'm going to say Wild Jungle and Sexy Cam is not that different to real life. It's I would compare those two. This is different. This is definitely different. You do not get this in real life. You know? And God, if you said half of the things that we say to one another, and they're very sensible, if you said that to the average person on the street, they'd probably have you locked up. But I mean, you know, and I read them all because they're directed to me, you know, personal. You know, so I read. So it's like I'm reading sometimes 20 letters a day from people. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just curious what it all means. I would never have guessed that would come out. You know, I thought this is all about anti-feminism and anti-cultural Marxism and all of that sort of thing. But I'm surprised that I'm getting happier. And as I said, I feel awkward about it because I know a lot of you guys are hurting. But I'm wondering why. I mean, what's changed? Like, you know, I've been talking about, you know, how to, you know, fight back and do all that sort of thing. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I'm even that interested anymore. I'm only upset. Bloody, I was trying to explain it on a video the other day, and I only upset Kurt. You know, I was explaining what I did to the, you know, what I was planning to say to my neighbour, and Kurt said, "Look, this is the most depressing video I've ever seen." I thought, well, I don't want to depress anybody. I'm sorry. Come on, I want to try and lift things up a little bit. I want to be a feel-good channel. So, I don't know, maybe I'm going to start straying away from that because, frankly, I don't care. You know, I was telling Jazz today that I don't care about it anymore. You know, about the system and about feminism. Fuck, if they want to do that, fuck off and go and do it. Leave me out of it. I don't live in real anyway, okay? I'm living in cyberspace, but I just don't fucking care anymore. It's why would I? Why do I want to focus on such negative, nasty people when I've got such good response here on the channel? I'd rather think about all the comments you guys are making and think about how we can improve our lot and our lives, you know, and make it better and learn from one another and add something. Sorry, I'm an entrepreneur, okay? I don't know whether you're aware of that or not, but I'm an entrepreneur, and what we do is we try to improve life. You know, we try and do little things. We think of ideas, things that aren't there, and we try and make things better. Maybe not for the whole world, but just for a few people. But that's what we do. That's what we think. That's honestly how I think. Entrepreneurs think that way. That's, you know, my style of entrepreneur. They want to improve things, you know, and leave it a better place. You know, advance the plot. See, what I see is, yeah, what's happened to us. Yeah, it's unfortunate and everything else, but it creates all sorts of opportunities. That's how it works, you know. It's part of evolution. Yeah, I know we all hate it and that sort of thing. I know Jazz wants to fight it, and everybody's going. But okay, what I'm saying is maybe I'll fuck it, forget it. You know, it's fucked. Let's leave it. Let's leave the planet behind. Let's create our own new planet. Let's find a new way to do things. You know, maybe not all the time, but maybe of a night time, or maybe just on the weekends, or, you know, some sort of escape. That's something that we're all contributing to and getting something out of. You know, it is, you know, to keep looking at what has been, what's happened, and what's wrong with it, forever saying, somebody else should do something about the situation. The chances are they're not going to, are they? Well, they might do in 50 years' time, but probably not. But there are things that we can do. Okay? And I tried to say, we can depress everybody, I suppose. If I depress Kurt, well, if I tell my neighbour, I never did tell my neighbour about Neville across the road and what the risk is. So fuck it, maybe I won't. Why do okay. The most important thing is Captain Bob told me, he's a smug, supercilious person, and that's something I've hated that attitude my whole life, and Captain Bob actually summed it up beautifully. And said, and they love the idea of the government backing them. I thought, yep, tick, I agree with that as well. And I even looked up virtue signalling because I didn't know what virtue signalling was. But now I don't care. I really don't give a shit. Okay? I'm not worried about any of that. Let them go and live that way. I'm sorry, I just don't fucking care anymore. I'm sorry, Jazz. Yes, I think you have. I'm not disagreeing with what you're doing for 1 single second. Right? Not for 1 second. And I wish you all the luck in the world. But I think it's time for me to move on and find happiness. I'm going to take you with me. Or at least part of the way. All right? I don't think I can fight them. I don't think I want to. Okay? I would much rather try and help people be happy and find new ways to live. Even if it's just temporary, as I said. Something you do of an evening or, on your holiday, well, whenever. Okay? But I mean, it's just, I'm feeling too much sadness here. I'm feeling too much anger, actually, and a fair amount of hatred. And I don't think that's healthy for any of us. All right? And I suspect, I'm starting to suspect it's coming because we've got nothing to live on. The crops aren't there. We're starving, mentally starving. Yeah, we're getting all the information, but from one another. We're not actually feeding one another. Okay? And that I think is where the starvation's coming from. Yep, there's no end of information. God, it's information age. There's a ton of it. You could spend 40 lifetimes on Google and you wouldn't cover a quarter of it. There's all the information in the world and you guys have got it all. But there's something missing between us, between people. And I'm feeling it in this channel. I'm feeling it growing like grass. And I'm munching on it, I'm eating on it, I'm feeding on it, and it's making me feel better. It's actually making me feel healthy, happy. Okay? And so what I think we have to do is, what I have to do is just be mindful of that and think, how can we make it, what's the word? Monkey branch. Let's monkey branch, is it right? Monkey branch off this situation onto another situation. Let's do that. It's not of people. I don't really know. Is that what monkey branching is about? I don't know all the mgtow terminology, but that's what I understand. You use somebody to go to another person. Well, let's monkey branch, but not with people. Let's do it with the situation. We've started developing something here between us, the guys. Let's see if we can monkey branch from here to a better situation and keep fucking monkey branching. Okay. And really, if we can do that, I've found happiness. I'm saying it, I don't see my children happy, none. So nothing's changed in 3 weeks. It's not like, they've all come back into my life and everything's forgotten and forgiven. And nothing has changed, except I'm doing this channel. And I don't spend nearly as much time on Power Talk anymore. And if I look at Power Talk to this, the obvious, simple, without a doubt, fact of the matter is the bloody comments or the conversations are much longer and much more structured, and there's much more in them. There's quite simply, if I go back to Power Talk, there is nothing to eat in the conversations. If you want to put it in, there was just no food there. I was starving. Get me out of here, hungry. As crazy as that sounds, but that's how I feel. And I think if we can somehow feed one another or feed off one another in a constructive way, not in a destructive, narcissistic way, where we just, feed off one another's misery, but if we can add to one another and build one another up, and fuck fighting them. Fuck them. Let them go. Let them just shrivel. Let them live there. Okay? Let's leave there. Let's leave, because they're living in it too. And everybody's living in it. Us, them, everybody is living in that. All starving. All of us. Women, men, feminists, the whole lot. Everybody. That's where we're living. There. In that shit. Nothing. Out in the middle of it. Okay, let's leave it and try and find something that we can graze on, something that can nurture us, even if it's just for a couple of hours a day. And it's not YouTube channels, okay, and it's not Google, and it's not movies, it's other people. Somehow we've got to get other people involved, and in a constructive way, and we can do it. They used to do it. For some reason, we're not doing it anymore. We've just stopped doing it. We've stopped feeding one another. Okay. It's good talking to you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.